My name is Shelley, and I am a Tai Chi instructor with the Jewish Community Center, and I'm providing the instruction for this class with AARP. And just to give you the heads up, I did put some information in the chat about resources on YouTube and the internet for your information.
Good morning, and welcome to AARP Missouri's fitness series, Moving It. I'm Sandy, a volunteer with AARP to help you kick off our new fitness programming. Moving It has 3 programs. Today, Tai Chi, and it will be delivered by the Jewish Community Center instructors on Thursdays at 10:30 a.m. Forever Fit, which has been developed and will be delivered by the Jewish Community Center of St. Louis. This program takes place every Monday morning at 10:30 a.m. Moving with Val, and that will be on Wednesday evenings at 6 o'clock p.m. on AARP Missouri Facebook and the YouTube channel. This fitness series is open to anyone, anywhere, so please tell your friends and family. Moving It is a part of our overall program, The Good Life with AARP, which provides you with tips, ideas, and experiences to help you live your best life. I encourage you to check out other programs by going to aarp.org/Missouri. I think we're ready, Shelley.
Okay. Sandy, I do have one question for you. Have you been given an update on the schedule for the Tai Chi class?
You mean for the recorded sessions or just the...
Just in general, because I received an email about that and I was going to share that information with everybody, but I didn't know if even you knew.
I'm not sure. I haven't received anything yet myself. If you...
Okay. So here's what I've been told is that this session, we have 2 more Thursdays. We have today, the 10th, the 17th of December, I guess the 24th of December, and then the 29th of December. And I was told that after the 29th, they're going to take a break from the Tai Chi class. So they won't be continuing after December 29th.
Okay, I didn't know that.
They're going to be offering Zumba.
Oh.
And so you may get that information. Since I just got it yesterday, I thought I would share it with everybody because I want to give people information about how to continue on their own. And we have a few weeks to get through that.
Oh, okay. No, I didn't know that.
Yeah, so that information will be forthcoming. I hope I didn't do anything wrong by mentioning it.
Oh, I'm sure not. I'm sure not.
So as I said, when I started, I did put in the chat, I did put on the website to get the information. So this form is called Tai Chi Fundamentals. It's abbreviated as TCF. The founder is Trisha Yu. And this is all in the chat. The website is taichihealth.com. You can also, if you go to YouTube and search for Trisha Yu, Tai Chi Fundamentals, what we do, there are 2 things. She demonstrates that it's not instructional, but I believe you can find a video for the basic movement patterns, which we do, and the form. And of course, all these classes have been recorded, right? So you can just keep watching them.
Yes.
On your own. So on her website, if anyone is interested in materials, she does have a DVD of Tai Chi Fundamentals. She has DVDs of other forms as well. So if you wanted to get her instructional DVD, you could do that. But this is the book that I recommend. I think it's really hard to learn from a book. I think that a book is helpful as a reference once you're a little further along. That's just my opinion. I feel the same way about DVDs, but people do as they wish. And this is called Trisha Yu, Tai Chi, Mind and Body. So I wanted to put that information out there. And as I say, it's great that these sessions have been recorded because, you've got this just to repeat. And as you know, there's plenty to learn. All right. So today I'm going to do some things just a little bit differently. I don't like to do the same thing all the time. So we'll do some more I'd like to spend more time on the form today. I've been spending a lot of time on the basic movement patterns, and it looks like a number of you have been coming again and again. So I think what we're going to do is I'm just going to focus on the leg portion of some of the basic movement patterns, so we can spend maybe a little more time on the form work and just get more information from there. So remember, whatever we're doing, we are focused on the principles of relax. That's mind and body, keeping the body upright. That's having the idea that the spine is floating, that the head is suspended from the crown, and the spine, imagine that each of these beads are a vertebra, float. And this might be your tailbone. It has a little bit of weight. So the body is upright, but it's not rigid, right? When we're shifting and turning, the spine can move, but it just maintains, with the idea of the head floating up, it maintains that upright posture without being rigid, so that we're able to maintain our relaxation. So we have relax, keeping that body upright while we're staying relaxed, separating the weight. We've done some of this while we're relaxed, keeping the body upright. Move so that the waist is the commander, that the waist turn directs the change of the hands and the feet, okay, while keeping the body upright and staying relaxed. And lastly, while we're doing the form, this idea of lady's beautiful hand or beautiful wrist, which means that the wrist is open and soft so that the chi can flow. We don't want any tension in the arms. So you can imagine when we're in that push posture that some of you are familiar with now, it's as though someone is holding the fingertips and the elbow's just heavy. And so we also talk about the three heavies: the elbow, the tailbone, and the knees, allowing those to release and be heavy. And the three lights: the top of the head, the eyes, the hands, fingertips, and thumb tips. Okay, so let me adjust my screen just a little bit here. I want to make sure you can see me. Again, and for those of you, I don't know how familiar everybody is with using Zoom, but if you want my picture to be the largest, you can go under the view icon and select speaker view, or you can go to my picture and just pin the video. Sorry, it took me a moment to change that. So we're going to start with our feet in a small V. This posture is called point. And we start the form like this, and I'd like to start the basic movement patterns the same way. I'm going to be doing everything with the mirror image. So we're going to start by bending the knees and hips. We're going to keep the hips level. We're going to sink all the way into the right foot because we're going to move the left foot. Step out with the left foot to the left. Toes point straight ahead, heels line up. We set up our hip width distance. Now, as we release into the center of the left foot, allow your hips to rotate and line up with the right foot. Then we turn to the front, pivoting on the center of the right foot, the right heel, shift to the middle, and as you rise, just place the hands on the lower abdomen. Okay, so you want the feet in that hip width distance. That means the center of the hip joint is lined up with the center of the feet. Just resting the hands gently on the lower abdomen. And let the tip of your tongue very lightly touch the roof of the mouth. The tip of the tongue is slightly curved, and the breath is relaxed. We're going to just start out with relaxed breathing and a few basic warm-ups. So let the stomach relax. It's one of the nice things about having the hands just resting gently here. Brings a little attention there. No tension in the stomach. No tension in the back. And again, the head as though it's rising up, floating up, suspended from the head top. There's a point here called the Ba Hui. Energy connects us to the heavens above. Center of the bottom of the foot, the bubbling well, the Yung Chuan connecting us deep into the earth. Thumbs relaxed, breath relaxed. Knees not locked. Toes relaxed. You never want to feel like you're gripping the floor. Elbows feel heavy, relaxing and releasing tension in the neck and shoulders. Tailbone feels heavy. opening the lower back, releasing tension there. And the knees feel heavy, allowing the weight to sink into the center of the bottom of the feet and deep into the earth. Without changing your rhythm of breathing, slowly move your hands away from your body. The palms are facing your body. And now you turn the wrists so the palms are facing upward, hands on either side of your center line. The elbows feel heavy. The fingertips rise along the center line as you inhale. And then palms turn down as you exhale. And breathing in, elbows heavy, fingertips light, wrists open, and breathe out. Feet relaxed. Inhale and exhale. Head easing upward, breathing in and out. Now let the arms go out to the sides, palms face the ceiling. Let the elbows feel heavy. Imagine that the energy is going out the fingertips. Relax here, tailbone feels heavy. Very important, I'm going to turn sideways briefly. Very important, when you turn the hands up, not to lean back, right? We want to keep the spine upright and just the wrist turn upward, okay? And then the elbows feel heavy and the feet are rooted, and we breathe in as the fingertips rise in front of the top of the head, and exhale as the hands travel down the center line. And breathing in, elbows heavy, feet heavy, tailbone heavy, and breathing out. Inhale and exhale. And we'll go ahead and we'll do one more. Breathing in and out. And now let the arms hang by your sides. Feel the full weight of your arms. We'll do the arms swinging, or it's called heavy arms. And here, again, the knees are relaxed, not rigid. Tailbones heavy, elbows heavy, knees heavy. Head light, eyes light, and hands light. You want to feel the full weight of your arm. I've been told the average adult arm weighs like 15 to 18 pounds. You want to feel that. The arm's like a heavy rope. And I'm going to turn sideways again so you can get a better sense of the movement. So the whole arm moves. The elbow can bend because it's relaxed, but you can see that the movement comes from the shoulder. And the elbow feels heavy the whole time. Body stays upright and relaxed. Breath relaxed. Mind relaxed. Body relaxed. Okay, so for the basic movement patterns, we're going to move through them we're just going to do the leg portion because I want to focus on that, and then we'll do our form work. Let the arms come to rest by your sides. One hand on the lower abdomen, the other hand behind it. Again, if it's comfortable, if it's creates too much tension in the shoulder, then both hands can be in front. This is just to give you information. So you're just going to bend the knees and hips a little bit as though you were going to sit down. And then rise again without locking the knees, okay? So just bending the knees and hips. You can see my body stays upright. Tailbone's heavy. Get a little fold in my hip joint here, okay? And while you're doing this, think about the head floating up and the tailbone feeling heavy. And imagine as you bend the knees and hips, the weight is sinking deep into the earth through the bubbling well, through the center of the bottom of the feet. We inhale as we rise, and we exhale as we sink. Inhale and exhale. Inhale and exhale. Okay? And the next time that you've bent the knees and hips, I want you to stay there. Palms facing the floor, upper arm even with the torso, okay, forearm parallel with the floor. And this is a nice one to do with front assist or side assist. If you're using front assist, you want to just rest the fingertips on the surface. You don't want to hold on because then you're leaning. Fingertips just very gently on the surface, just bending the knees and hips slightly. Okay. Now we're going to be shifting the weight. I'm going to turn around, and either with the fingertips touching the surface or not, Bending the knees and hips, relax back here, a little self-massage is fine. And then pay attention to the bottoms of the feet, slowly sinking into the center of the left foot, and then slowly sinking into the center of the right foot. So the hips stay level with one another, and they're on a plane that's parallel with the floor. So the knees and hips bend, they have to adjust a little bit as you shift your weight. Okay, here's my center line. And I start out just as a warm-up, shifting a little bit of weight down into one foot and then some weight down into the other foot. The goal over time, as you build leg strength, is to be able to shift 100% so that the other foot's empty. 100%. If you have to brace to pick up the foot, then you're not relaxed enough. And that's fine. Like I say, to start out as new beginners, we're just shifting the weight. Remember, the principle is separate the weight. It doesn't say how much. So we're just practicing separating the weight, staying upright, keeping the body relaxed. And remember, when we do this seated, it's a very small internal shift. Body, upper body is upright, right? And we just shifting the sits bone. So you can pick up one foot and then pick up the other foot. So it look like this when you sit. The knees are lined up with the center of the hip joint, ankles under the knees, and hands wherever it's comfortable. And slowly you sink into one sits bone and just release the foot off the floor. Slowly sink into the other sits bone, releasing the foot. So my upper body is light. I'm not doing this to pick up the foot. Okay, you don't want to do that. You still need to have body upright. So again, turning sideways. And you can tell if you're still doing this while I'm demonstrating the seated movement. You're working the quads. We're warming up the body. So I've got my body upright, right? The back is straight. And I'm slowly releasing one foot and then slowly releasing the other. I'm thinking about rising from the knee. Okay? So we have relax, separate, that's separating the weight, really important. And now waist is the commander. So for this one, remember we have the same basic stance. This is called the basic stance, Wuchi posture, horse stance. We're going to bend the knees and hips and slowly shift into the right foot. And then turn the waist. We're going to turn the waist, pivoting on the center of the left heel, turning the left toes out, and then the waist turn brings the foot back. The waist changes the hands and the foot. Shift into the left foot, turn to the right, toes out and back. Not a range of motion exercise. None of these are range of motion. We're just turning a little bit to get the coordination, the feeling that the waist turn. Be aware of the full three-dimensionality of your body. You can think of this whole part of your body like a wheel. The important thing here is we're shifting and turning. The knee of the weighted leg stays stable and pointed straight ahead. Very important when you turn out to keep that knee straight. You don't want the knee dropping in. You'll hurt your knee that way. So keeping the knees lined up with the toes of the weighted leg. This is the weighted leg, and now I'm turning to the left and back. I'm shifting the weight, turning to the right and back. And again, seated, same thing. Just a much more subtle movement. Sits bone, and you just turn a little bit and back. Again, you just want the coordinated feeling that the waist is causing the change. It doesn't matter if it's a very small change or a big change, but it's the waist turn that's driving it, okay? The movements in Tai Chi originate in the feet, are directed by the waist. When the hands are involved, when we did the basic movement patterns with the arms, manifest in the hands, okay? All right, so that's relax, separate the weight, waist is the commander, body upright. I'm just gonna have a quick look at the chat. It looks like there's another. Okay, so I'm gonna take a short break to answer this last one. The website in the chat session I've shown as taichihealth.com. That's the website for the form that we're doing. Sandy can provide, the website and information for AARP. Okay, all right. So the last basic movement pattern, and this is basic. We're working on the basic movement patterns, part 1. There were 3 parts, and this parallels part 1 of the form. For those of you who came early, I was just doing the form, the whole Tai Chi fundamentals form, which is broken into 3 parts. So there are 3 basic movement patterns, part 1, part 2, part 3, 3 parts of the form, part 1, part 2, part 3, and they parallel one another. Okay, so the last one in the basic movement patterns, part 1, is when we change the feet into that 70-30 posture. So always keeping that distance between the feet. That's really important for stability. So to get into the 70-30 posture, I'll do it facing you, and then I'll turn around because it works better for some people different ways. So we start off by bending the knees and hips, shifting into the right foot. Turn the hips to the left, turning the left toes out a little bit, no more than 45. For some of you, 45 might be too much. Then we're going to shift all the weight into the left foot, face front. We've got to get that bend in the hips, okay? And then step straight out with the right foot. Take an empty step, okay? So you don't want to commit weight to it right away. And it doesn't have to be a very long step, right? We're separating the weight, we're staying relaxed, we're keeping the body upright, we're separating the weight. Now, the way this is the commander part is we're just shifting the weight down into the center of the front foot. So now you have more weight, or most of your weight in the front foot. That knee stays pointed straight ahead. Now we're going back into the rear foot, dropping into the rear foot. Okay. If you turned your toes out too far, because when we're here, it's really easy to turn the foot out that much. But then I can't keep my hips facing front without putting pressure on my knee. So you might need to adjust that. If you feel any stress on this knee, just adjust the position. As long as it's on the diagonal, we're just shifting the weight. And I'm going to turn sideways so you can see what that looks like. So I keep my body upright and I shift the weight by bending both hips and dropping into the center of the front foot. So the rear hip joint has to bend. And then when I shift into the rear foot, the front hip joint has to fold so I can keep my body upright. If I don't bend the rear hip joint as I go forward, I end up leaning forward. If I don't bend the front hip joint as I go back, I end up leaning back. So both hip joints are making these small adjustments to keep the body upright as you're shifting the weight. And the best thing to do, like I say, is to focus on the bottoms of the feet, the bubbling well, the center of the bottom of the foot, and just think about releasing like that slinky down into the center of one foot, down into the other. Okay, now all the way on the left foot, pick up the right foot, bring it straight back, shift into the right, and we're back to center. Now we're going to change sides. So that time we had the right foot forward. This time we're going to have the left foot forward. So bending the knees and hips, shift into the left leg, turn to the right toes out a little bit, all the way into the right foot, relax back here, and take your step with the left foot. Same thing, just bend the knees and hips deep into the center of the front foot and sinking into the center of the rear foot. Keep the belly relaxed. That's why it's nice to have both hands on the lower abdomen, or one hand in front and one hand in back. This, I have a lot of really tight back here. So having a hand back here really helps remind me to keep that lower back relaxed and the tailbone feeling heavy. Just relax the belly and shift the weight down into the center of one foot, down into the center of the other. Head is easing upward and the tailbone feels heavy. And then the next time you're on the rear foot, pick up the left foot, bring it straight back, shift into the left foot, let your hips line up with the right foot, turn the waist, changing the right foot, and back to the basic stance. And just check your feet and see if you ended up with your feet parallel. Not everybody does, and so we just make an adjustment for that. So let's take a short break here, walk around a little bit, grab a drink of water. I always get thirsty because I talk so much. And I generally like to walk a circle in both directions. That just gets the ankles nice and flexible and kind of works everything. Okay, so those are the basic movement patterns. And now we're going to do our form work. And you'll see that basically the first circle is all, once we're in the Wuchi posture, once we're in the ward off side, the legs, we're just shifting the weight, which was that last basic movement pattern. And then in the form, we change sides. And then we go the other way. Mirror image, exactly. Okay, so I'm gonna go through that together. I'm gonna break it down. We'll start at point. And remember, when you're in point, you're just settling and relaxing. Take the time to settle your breathing. Pay attention to your rhythm of breath. You may even become aware of the movement of your lungs. Just relax, let your attention be more internally focused, so you're more internally aware. Belly should be relaxed. I want you to visualize your lungs inhaling, expanding on the inhale, relaxing on the exhale. And just like blowing into a balloon, the lungs expand on all sides, downward and outward, all directions. So just imagine that as you're relaxing, tip of the tongue very gently touching the roof of the mouth. Let your arms feel heavy. The knees feel heavy and the tailbone feels heavy and the head is easing upward. And begin. We're going to be bending the knees and hips, shifting all the weight into the right foot. I'm doing the mirror image. Step out with the left foot, the toes point straight ahead. Get your hip width distance, and it's fine to look at your feet to be sure. You want the knees pointed straight ahead. Now, as you shift down into the center of the left foot, let your hips line up with the right foot. Very little weight on the right foot. So when I turn the waist to the front, I can pivot on the right heel. That foot can move. Then we shift to the middle, and as we rise, the arms change into that Wuchi position. Okay? Okay, so we're in the Wuchi posture. I'm going to turn sideways so that you can get a better idea of the position of the arm. The upper arm is even with the torso, roughly. It can be a little forward. The elbow is bent slightly, and the wrist is open. All the joints are open so the chi flows from the elbow to the tip of the middle finger. Okay, and in preparation, the wrists change 5 times. Now, even though we don't maintain the lady's beautiful wrists during this preparation, the wrists are relaxed. There shouldn't be tension. Okay, you want the chi to be able to flow. If you think about a hose with water flowing out of it, if you bend and get a kink in the hose, pressure builds up. But if you can bend it slowly and keep the shape of it, then the chi flows. So breathing in as the wrists rise, let the elbows feel heavy, and the wrists rise like helium balloons tied to the wrists. The wrists are shoulder high and shoulder width, okay? And then the second time the wrists change, the elbows feel heavy, and that brings the palms up. So imagine the palms are just floating on water. And now the elbows still feel heavy, and they bend, bringing the wrists towards the shoulders. Don't lower the wrists. And then the wrists relax so the fingers point down. It's the third time the wrists change. Then the elbows sink, the wrists sink, the fingers ease upwards slightly. Fourth time, fifth time, we're back to Wuchi. So let's do that again, this opening movement. Take a few moments to settle and begin breathing in as the wrists rise, and then just breathe naturally. Fingers pointing down, wrist shoulder high, shoulder width. Palms face the floor. Okay, I don't know what happened, but it looks like I was just bounced out.
You're still on.
I am still on. Okay, I'm not seeing anyone. Okay, that's interesting.
We're still seeing and hearing you.
Wow. Okay, well, I'm going to keep going then, and I'll figure it out when we take a break. This is odd. So let me try one thing and see if I can see you guys again. All right. So I'm not very good at this stuff. Can you still see me and hear me?
Yes.
Okay. All right. Well, I'll just keep going. I've lost everybody. So from the Wuchi position, we'll do preparation again. Breathing in as the wrist rise. The wrist is shoulder high, shoulder width. 2, the palms face the floor. 3, the wrist slide towards the shoulders. Wrist relax, fingers point down. And the elbows sink, the wrists sink, the fingers ease upward slightly. And we're back to the Wuchi position. Okay. And next, we're going to bend the knees and hips. Shift into the left leg. Turn to the right toes out a little bit and form the ball. Okay, the top hand is across from the center of the sternum, bottom hand below the navel. The palms are opposite one another. With the head easing upward, sinking all the weight into the right foot, step straight out with the left foot. Left knee stays pointed straight ahead. Bend the knees and hips, sink into the center of the left foot. Turn the waist, keep most of the weight on the left leg, and now change the hands. The left hand comes up outside the right hand, turns and faces the sternum. Right hand goes down the center line. Now this posture is called ward off left side because the left arm is the ward off arm. Left hand's protecting the heart and lungs. Now we're going to bend the knees and hips, and as you sink into the right foot, the right hand comes up. The left hand stays out there. And as you shift back into the left foot, the right hand comes to the inside of the left hand. So this is called press. I want you to make sure you can really see how that is. I'm going to turn sideways so you can see that. Okay, now the left palm is facing you. It turns down and up. Right hand wipes off the back of the left. And now we're in push. The fingertips are shoulder high and shoulder width. Most of the weight's in that front foot. Now bend the knees and hips, sink into the rear foot. That brings the hands towards the shoulders. And then go ahead and release your push. Back to your 70-30. Stay there for a moment and relax there, just like when we're holding Wuchi. So most of the weight's in the left foot. Okay, fingertips are light, elbows heavy. Let that tailbone feel heavy. Relax the belly, relax the breath. Okay, shift all the weight into the right foot. Bring the left foot back. We're back to point. I'm going to do this once more facing you, and then I'll turn around and do it. So from point, take the time to settle and relax. And begin sinking all the way down into the right foot, bending the knees and hips. Step out with the left foot, toes straight, keep the hip width distance. Shift into the left, hips line up with the right foot. Turn to the front, pivoting on the center of the heel. Shift to the middle. As you rise, don't lock the knees, and the arms change into the Wuchi posture. And preparation, breathing in as the wrists rise, elbows feel heavy. 2, the palms face the floor. 3, the wrists slide towards the shoulders, relax. 4, the elbows sink, the wrists sink, the fingers ease up gently. And then we're back to the Wuchi position. Now, bend the knees and hips, shift into the left foot. Turn to the right, turn the right toes out a little bit and form the ball. Right hand's on top. Shift all the way down into the right foot. Keep your hips lined up with the right foot. Step out with the left and check. Make sure you've got that distance between the feet and the left knee's pointed straight ahead. Drop into the center of the left foot and both hips. Shift most of the weight into the left leg. Turn the waist, change the hands. Left hand comes up, right hand goes down. As we shift into the rear foot, the right hand comes up. As we shift into the front foot, the right hand comes to the inside of the left. This is press. Left hand turns down and up. Right hand wipes off the back. The hands separate. Shift down into the rear foot, elbows heavy, fingertips light, and release the push. Okay, now we're going to continue changing sides. So we're going to sink all the weight into the right foot, and that brings the hands towards the shoulders. The elbows feel heavy. Turn to the left. The waist is the commander. So the waist turn to the left causes the left toes to turn out a little bit and the right hand to drop down. So when you turn to the left hand's on top, forming the ball. Now, head is upright, all the way into the left foot. Step out with the right foot. Now look, make sure you're not too narrow. The tendency is when you turn to the right to bring when you turn the waist to bring the foot in. Okay? Knees stay pointed straight ahead. Bend the knees and hips, sinking most of the weight into the right foot. Turn the waist, change the hands. Now the right hand comes up and the left hand goes down. Okay, so now we're in ward off right side. Sink into the left foot, left hand comes up, shift the weight. Left hand comes to the inside of the right into press. Right hand turns down and up, and separate, shift the weight, and shift the weight. Now to come out of this, we shift all the weight into the right foot, step up with the left foot so the feet are parallel and hip width distance, shift to the middle, and as you rise into the Wu Chi position, let's hold Wu Chi for a little bit. Okay. And tip of the tongue very gently touching the roof of the mouth. Breath relaxed. Imagine the spine floating, tailbone heavy, head easing upward, and back to point. Bend the knees and hips, shifting the weight into the right foot, turn to the left, turn the left toes out, all the way into the left foot, pick up the right foot, bring it back in. We're back to point. Okay, let's take another break. And I'm going to see what I can do here, if I can figure something out. Okay, if things fall apart, I will sign back in. Okay. And I'm assuming everyone can still see me and hear me?
Yes, we can.
Yes.
Okay, well, so I'm just going to have to do this blind. I don't want to spend our class time figuring this out. So just let me know if I step out of the screen or you need me to arrange myself. I've done this enough. I have a good idea to know where I need to be in the room in order for you to see me. So I'll just get a drink of water and then we'll continue. So I don't have access to the chat. So you'll just have to ask me a question. Just hold the space bar down if you have a question. All right then. So I'm going to demonstrate this seated. And as I've said before, when you're seated, you shift the weight by bending the hips. So if this is the hips and this is the top of the head, okay, it's very important to keep the chin neutral. You don't want to lean forward. You don't want to lead with the chin. Remember, even when you're seated, the waist is the commander. Okay, so I think this might work. Adjust the screen position slightly. Okay, so when you're seated, and you can do this, follow along standing or seated, or you can use this time to take a short break. So when you're seated, the feet are in point. And then you just adjust the feet into that hip width distance, however is easy for you, changing the arms, of course. And then with preparation, okay, and ward off left side, same thing. We shift into the left sits bone, turn to the right, forming the ball. Shift the weight into the right sits bone, take a small step with the left foot, and shift the weight by tilting forward just slightly, turn the waist, change the hands. And then shifting the weight, hand comes up, shifting the weight into press. Left hand turns away, hands separate, shift the weight, and shift the weight. And to change sides, we shift down into the right foot, Turn to the left, turn the left toes out, hold the ball, form the ball. So when you're seated, you're going to have to bring that left foot back because you can't really step forward when you're on the chair. So you bring the left foot back and then you step out with the right foot. Then you hinge at the hips to shift the weight, turn the waist, and now the right hand comes up and the left hand goes down. So now we're in ward off right side. Then shifting the weight and shifting the weight, bringing the hand forward. Right hand turns down and up, the hands separate, shift the weight, and shift the weight. And then we just go back to Uchi by coming back. And then to close, sink into the sits bone, small turn out, and just go back to the V. Okay? So now what I'm going to do is we're going to do that whole section. So now that's all of first circle, all of the first third, and I'm going to do it. We'll do it facing the same direction. Okay, we just have a couple minutes. It's 10 after 11. So we'll go from here. And so when you're in point, take the time to relax and settle. Settle your breathing, relax the belly. And begin bending the knees and hips, sink all the way down into the right foot. Step out with the left foot, toes point straight ahead, your hip width distance. Then sink the weight into the left foot, allow your hips to line up with the right foot. Weight's on the left leg, so when you turn the waist to the front, you pivot on the center of the right heel, shift to the middle, and as you rise, don't lock the knees and the arms change into the Wuchi position. And check your feet, make sure you stepped correctly. If you didn't, go ahead and make an adjustment. We'll spend a moment in Wuchi, let the elbows feel heavy, fingertips light. And breathing in as the wrists rise. And then breathing naturally to the palms face the floor. Third time the wrists change, they slide towards the shoulders and the wrists relax with the fingers pointing down. The elbows sink, the wrists sink, the fingers ease upward slightly, and then we're back to the Wuchi position. Ward off left side, bending the knees and hips, sink into the left foot, turn to the right, turn the right toes out a little bit, form the ball, right hand's on top, all the way down into the right foot, step straight out with the left foot, left knee points straight ahead. As you shift the weight, you're dropping into the center of the left foot, most of the weight's in the left leg, turn the waist, change the hands, the left hand comes up, crossing the sternum, right arm's in Wuchi. This is ward off left side. As we shift into the right foot, the right hand comes up. As we shift into the left, the right hand comes to the inside of the left hand. Left palm is facing you. Left hand turns down and up. The hands separate. Shift the weight down into the rear foot. The hands come towards the shoulders. Go ahead and release the push. So in push, most of the weight's on the left leg. To change sides, bend the knees and hips. We sink into the center of the right foot, and that brings the hands towards the shoulders. So the waist moving back moves the hands towards the shoulders. The waist turning to the left causes the left toes to go out and the hands to change. Left hand's on top. All the way down into the left foot. Step out with the right foot. Look at your feet. Make sure you've got that distance between the feet. Right toes point straight ahead. Bend the knees and hips. Sink into the center of the right foot. Turn the waist. Change the hands. The right hand comes up, faces the sternum. The left hand is in the Wuchi position. I'm going to step back a little bit. And as you shift into the left foot, the left hand comes up. As you shift into the right foot, the left hand comes to the inside of the right hand. The right palm is facing you. Right hand turns down and up. The hands separate. Shift down into the rear foot, bringing the hands towards the shoulders. And go ahead and release your push into a full 70-30. Okay, stay there for a moment. Relax there. Let your elbows feel heavy and the fingertips feel light. Remember that the top of the head is floating up and the tailbone feels heavy. Relax the belly. All the way into the right foot. Step up with the left foot. Back to the Wuchi position. And as you rise, the arms open. Don't lock the knees. Now, if we were continuing the form, we would continue from here, but to close, we bend the knees and hips, shift into the left foot. Turning to the right, turn the right toes out a tiny bit, all the way deep into the right foot. Pick up the left foot, bring it in, and we're back to point. Okay, thank you. And I assume that it's time to go. It's 11:14. So again, if you have any questions, you'll just have to ask them because I don't have any visual. And Sandy, I guess you have some closing remarks.
Yes. I just wanted to thank everybody again for joining us today. And remember to check out other programs on our website, aarp.org/Missouri.